It happens every morning. You open your eyes. For a fraction of a second, you were still there. You were in that impossible city, talking to that person who has passed away, flying over an ocean of violet water. The emotion is raw, real, palpable. But then, you move. You reach for your phone or turn off the alarm. And in that instant, it vanishes. It's not a slow fade. It is a theft. It feels as if someone or something has reached into your mind and ripped the pages out of the book you are reading. You try to grab the tail of the memory, but it dissolves like smoke. Why? Why does nature invest hours of brain activity, energy, and hallucination every night, only to hit the delete button the moment we wake up? We are often told it's just biology. We are told the neurochemistry of the waking brain is different. But Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, suspected something darker. He didn't see the mind as a computer with a glitch. He saw it as a house with a guard dog. Freud believed that forgetting is not a passive failure of memory. It is an active force. It is repression. Your mind isn't losing the dream. Your mind is hiding it from you. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this mystery. We're going to explore 9 theories from the clinical to the terrifyingly speculative that explain this phenomenon. Some are based on hard neuroscience, others on the edge of quantum philosophy, but all of them point to one unsettling conclusion: you are not supposed to remember. Let's descend into the abyss of the unconscious. Theory 1. The reality firewall. Imagine if you remembered your dreams with the same clarity and permanence as your waking memories. Yesterday, you argued with your boss. Last night, you dreamt you pushed your boss off a cliff. If both memories were stored with the same weight in your hippocampus, how long would it take before you couldn't tell the difference? This is the first theory, the reality firewall. The brain deliberately sabotages dream memory to preserve your sanity. If the firewall didn't exist, we would live in a state of constant psychosis. You wouldn't know if you actually cheated on your partner, or if it was just a phantom of the night. You wouldn't know if you can fly or if gravity is a law. Freud spoke of the reality principle, the ego's job to navigate the real world. To function, the ego must brutally suppress the pleasure principle of the dream world. The amnesia is a safety feature. It's the wall that keeps the monsters and the miracles in the basement, so you can pay your taxes and drive your car without screaming. Theory 2. Emotional protection. But it's not just about confusing facts. It's about surviving feelings. Dreams are not polite, they are raw. In dreams, we feel terror, ecstasy, rage, and grief at intensities that would break us in the waking world. This brings us to the second theory, emotional protection. The unconscious is a cauldron of boiling impulses. Freud called it the ideate. It is the home of our darkest desires and our most primal fears. If you woke up carrying the full emotional weight of your nightmares, you would be paralyzed. You would be emotionally exhausted before your day even began. The brain acts as a damper. It wipes the slate clean so you don't start your Tuesday morning a loss that never happened, or furious at a friend for a betrayal that was entirely fictional. Forgetting is a form of emotional mercy. It protects the fragile conscious self from being crushed by the tsunami of the subconscious. Theory 3. Subconscious sorting the trash can. Now, let's look at it mechanistically. Your brain is the most complex machine in the universe, but it has limited storage space for active recall. This is theory number 3, subconscious sorting. Throughout the day, you absorb millions of bits of data. The color of a passing car, the smell of rain, a fragment of conversation. At night, the brain has to file this. It opens the filing cabinets. It looks at the data. It decides, keep this, discard that. Dreams, in this view, are merely the sparks flying from the incinerator. They are the visualization of the brain processing the trash. Freud might argue that even the trash reveals our deepest secrets, but from a functional standpoint, the narrative of the dream is just a byproduct of the sorting process. The brain discards the narrative because the narrative isn't the point. The filing is. Once the data is sorted, the story, the dream, is useless data. It's like the packaging of a product. Once you have the product, the lesson, or the memory, you throw the box away. The sinister implication here is where it gets unsettling. If these theories are true, it means that you, the conscious eye that is listening to this video, are not the master of your own house. You are the guest. There is a secret agent inside your head, a censor, who decides what you are allowed to see and what must be destroyed. Freud called this the censor at the threshold of consciousness. He believed that dreams are wish fulfillments in disguise. They are so shocking, so taboo, that if the censor didn't wipe your memory upon waking, you would be forced to confront the darkest parts of your soul every morning. So, the question is, what is your mind protecting you from today? What did you dream last night that was so dangerous it had to be deleted immediately? In the next segment, we will move from protection to the bizarre mechanics of creativity and the physical structure of the brain. And we will begin to touch on the theories that go beyond biology into the realms of parallel worlds. We have established that your mind might be wiping your memory to protect your sanity or your emotional stability. But what if the purpose of forgetting isn't just protection? What if it's actually a production mechanism? What if the void left by the dream is actually a canvas? Theory 4. The crucible of creativity. Think about how many artists, writers, and scientists claim their best ideas came from a dream. But here's the catch: they rarely remember the whole dream. They remember a fragment, a feeling, an image. This is the fourth theory, the crucible of creativity. If we remembered dreams perfectly, they would just be linear movies. We would watch them, say that was weird, and move on. But because we forget the logic and the plot, but retain the impression, our conscious mind is forced to fill in the gaps. Freud suggested that the manifest content of the dream, what we remember, is a distorted puzzle of the latent content, the true meaning. This distortion forces the waking mind to work. The brain hates a vacuum. When you wake up with a fragment of melody, a bizarre machine, a face, your creativity kicks in to build a bridge back to it. Forgetting is the fuel. By erasing the context, the brain isolates the gold nugget of the idea, allowing you to forge something new in reality. The dream must die, so the art can be born. Theory 5. Memory consolidation, the overwrite. Let's get a bit more clinical, but no less disturbing. Neuroscience tells us that REM sleep, where vivid dreaming happens, is crucial for memory consolidation. This is theory number 5. Imagine your brain is a computer saving a massive document. While the save bar is loading, the screen might flash weird images or code. That's the dream. But once the save is complete, the screen clears. During REM, your brain is strengthening the neural pathways of what you learned yesterday, a new language, how to drive, a math formula. To solidify these important connections, it has to prune the weak ones. Here is the sinister part. The dream itself is often treated as weak noise. To save the fact, the brain must delete the experience. Neurochemically, the neurotransmitters required to store long-term memories, like norepinephrine, almost completely shut off during dreaming. Your brain is physically incapable of hitting record. It is in playback and edit mode only. You are experiencing a movie that is being burned after the viewing. Theory 6. Protection from parallel universes, speculative. Now, we leave the safety of the laboratory and stand at the edge of the metaphysical cliff. This is where Freud meets quantum mechanics in a dark alley. What if dreams are not just hallucinations? What if they are legitimate perceptions of alternative realities? This is the sixth theory, protection from parallel universes. Theoretical physics posits the many worlds interpretation that every decision creates a branching new universe. Some speculative thinkers suggest that during sleep, when the sensory input of this reality is cut off, our consciousness drifts. It tunes into the frequencies of the other, us living in the multiverse. You dream you are married to someone else. Maybe in another timeline, you are. You dream you died. Maybe in a parallel branch, you did. Why must we forget? Because the human mind is designed to operate in one timeline at a time. If you remembered the lives of your parallel selves with perfect clarity, your identity would shatter. You wouldn't belong anywhere. The sinister truth here is that the amnesia is a cosmic shackle. It chains you to this specific reality. It prevents you from world walking. The forgetting ensures that when you wake up, you believe this is the only life you have, the uncanny valley of the mind. Freud wrote extensively about the uncanny, das Unheimliche, something that is strangely familiar, yet terrifyingly alien. Dreams fit this perfectly. They are us, but not us. When we consider these theories, the firewall, the overwrite, the multiverse, we start to see a pattern. The waking world is a construct that requires maintenance. If we go back to Freud's idea of the unconscious, we remember that it is timeless. In the unconscious, there is no past or future, only an eternal now, but waking life requires time. It requires sequence. Forgetting the dream is the act of re-entering time. It is the price we pay for mortality and structure. But why did we evolve this way? Surely, remembering the simulation would be useful for survival. Or would it be a fatal distraction? In the final part of this video, we will look at the evolutionary reason for our amnesia, the concept of calibrating the soul, and the most mind-bending theory of all, the quantum reset. And finally, I will tell you what you can do if you dare to defy your programming and remember. We are reaching the bottom of the rabbit hole. We've looked at the psychological sensors and the terrifying possibility of multiverse travel. But to truly understand why the dream evaporates, we must look at where we came from and, perhaps, the fundamental nature of reality itself. Theory 7. The evolutionary advantage. Let us strip away the philosophy for a moment and look at a human being 50,000 years ago, sleeping in a cave. This is the 7th theory, evolutionary advantage. Survival requires absolute focus on immediate physical threats. If a predator is approaching the cave, you need to wake up and react instantly. If our ancestors woke up with their heads full of vivid, lingering memories of dream battles, dream food, or dream lovers, their reaction times to real threats would be compromised. A confused hominid is a dead hominid. Natural selection likely favored those who could wipe the cache instantly upon waking. The brain evolved to prioritize sensory input from the physical eyes over the visions of the mind SI. We are the descendants of the forgetful. We are the descendants of those who woke up and saw the lion, not the dream of the lion. Forgetting is a survival mechanism encoded in our DNA. Theory 8. Consciousness calibration. But we are not just animals surviving, we are complex egos constructing an identity. This brings us to theory number 8. Consciousness calibration. Think of waking up as booting up your operating system. Every morning, you have to remember who you are. I am name. I live in place. I do job. Freud emphasized the structure of the ego. The ego is fragile. If you woke up with the memories of being a king, a murderer, or a god, as we often are in dreams, the calibration process would fail. You would experience identity dissonance. The amnesia allows the ego to re-establish its boundaries. It says, "That was chaos, this is order." By discarding the dream, the brain validates the waking self as the dominant self. It is a daily act of submission to the reality principle. We forget it so we can be us again. Theory 9. The quantum reset, highly speculative, and finally, the most radical theory of all. One that combines the mystery of consciousness with quantum physics. The quantum reset. In quantum mechanics, a system exists in a state of superposition, all possibilities at once, until it is observed. Once observed, the wave function collapses into a single state. Some theorists suggest the brain operates partially as a quantum system. In the dream state, consciousness is unobserved, fluid, existing in superposition. Anything can happen. Time is nonlinear. You are everything and nothing. Waking up is the collapse. The moment conscious observation kicks in, the quantum possibilities must be reduced to a single, linear reality. The dream cannot be remembered clearly because it wasn't a single state. It was a cloud of probabilities. Attempting to drag a quantum experience into a linear memory is like trying to download the entire internet onto a floppy disk. It fails. The file is corrupted by the very act of waking up. Forgetting is the sound of the universe locking into place. Summary: the guardian at the gate. So, what is the sinister truth? It is that your reality is curated. Whether it is Freud's censor hiding your repressed urges, a neurobiological firewall protecting your processing power, or a quantum necessity to keep the universe stable, the result is the same. You are living in a divided house. There is a version of you that explores infinite worlds every night, and there is the version of you that pays the bills and forgets. The two are not allowed to meet. Action plan: defying the amnesia. But what if you want to peek behind the curtain? What if you want to bypass the censor? Freud believed that dream analysis was the royal road to the unconscious. If you are brave enough to recover these lost files, you must be faster than the mechanism that deletes them. The anchor: when you wake up, do not move, do not open your eyes fully. Movement triggers the waking neurochemistry that wipes the memory. Stay in the hypnopompic state, the borderland. The emotion: grab the feeling, not the plot. The plot fades, but the emotion leaves a residue. Ask, how do I feel? The image will follow the feeling. The transfer: write it down immediately, not later, now. The act of writing forces the dream from the fluid right hemisphere to the logical left hemisphere, saving it before the cache is cleared. But be warned, as Freud would say, sometimes the censor is there for a reason. Sometimes, the things we forget are the things we cannot bear to know. When you start remembering your dreams, you are not just remembering stories. You are recovering parts of yourself that you exiled long ago. Are you ready to meet them? The final call: your mind is a vast ocean, and your waking life is just a tiny island. Don't let the island convince you that the ocean doesn't exist. If this journey into the shadows of the mind has intrigued you, subscribe for more deep dives into psychology and the mysteries of existence. Hit the like button to signal to the algorithm that you want more truth, no matter how sinister. Comment below. Do you have a recurring dream that refuses to be forgotten? Share it. Let's analyze the glitches in the firewall together. Sleep well, and if you can remember,